Well, here we have the Meccano MEC1 engine driving the SE4 Brassfield workshop. I run this one quite often, but I never seem to actually film it that much. Obviously need to rectify that problem. I've decided to run this one today, just to give it a bit of a run out, and actually get a chance to put it actually on my YouTube channel, which I don't always seem to have some of the more obscure engines. This one's running sort of via a lay shaft, driven by the crankshaft, a very large Meccano pulley wheel, driving the 1948 flat base line shaft. These are very confident little runners. Mine taken a lot of punishment over the years. It's sort of plain worn condition, and you know, it's in reasonable nick, but it's been enjoyed essentially, and you can see it running this little setup without any trouble at all. It's got a small motor attached to it in front. I was experimenting to make it into a dynamo, but so far not much luck in that department. I've got the large blue rag there at the moment because he does tend to spit out a lot of rubbish on startup. I'll take that out soon. You can see the setup on the counter shaft there, or lay shaft, whatever. I've got Meccano pulleys and Meccano sprockets on there, as well as a Meccano pinion and gear wheel. And see, it drives the workshop a lot faster, certainly than the Luton PW202 we had running a couple of days ago. Very, very nice little engines, these. I'll just take this out now, and hopefully that should stop all that choking the engine. So they run extremely well. They could be incorporated with a whole manner of Meccano contraptions. The design was very much laid down by Meccano. I think Lyons brothers, who actually owned Meccano then, dictated a certain specification, and Malins duly came up with this. You can see there's a certain similarity in the engine frame to the 1929 model, and it's finished in this lovely Meccano yellow. And they run extremely well. There's not a lot to go wrong with them. Obviously the SP3 takes its cues from this one, being essentially exactly the same engine with the addition of a sight glass whistle and an awful solid fuel burner. And as you can see, this one's making light work of that. The hammer is going a lot faster than it was for the Luton, because of the gearing on that large pulley. It's essentially like a derailleur on a bicycle, where you've got a much larger chain wheel driving a smaller chain wheel at the back, which makes it harder to pedal, but obviously you get greater speed. All that noise is really coming from the extra gear on the lay shaft. I've had this one incorporated into cars and cranes and things. But at the moment it's not incorporated into any models. So there you have it really, not much more to say about the MEC1, other than I think most people should have one. They are very fast revving, quick and reliable engines. It's the first Malins engine actually to have a direction control, just simply raising and lowering the piston in relation to the exhaust ports and the inlet ports. And very simple device. Found its way then on to the TE1A, SR1A, slightly modified because they had a slight degree of speed control, whereas the control on this one is very similar to that on the SA1 Roadster. It's just literally a forward and backwards. It was incorporated ultimately into the 1967 SE2A, which was the first bi-directional model or stationary made by Malins, and you know, it was a feature they had to put in. I mean, they put it in on this one, then it had to go in on the rest of the range. You wonder why they didn't put it in earlier, really, considering that Meccano came up with the idea back in the 1920s. Creates a goodly amount of steam, this one, spits it straight out the side. I've always thought about soldering on a small extension piece so it spits it upwards, but never got around to it. lamp doing its job. Very wide open firebox hole. This one tends to, on startup, the flames coming out the back as well, so obviously the health and safety boys would be up in arms over that, but 2 fingers to those. There we have it, the Meccano MEC1. Enjoy.